Well, what the heck is intellectual capital, Nicky? Intellectual capital is the basis for you creating yourself as an industry-level thought leader. You got to start thinking about your expertise. Recommendations rooted in your expertise are worth a lot to clients.
Welcome to the Thought Leader Revolution with Nicky. Join the revolution. There's never been a better time in history to speak your truth, find your freedom, and make your fortune. Each week, we interview the world's top thought leaders and learn the secrets of how they built a 6 to 7 figure practice. This episode has been brought to you by eCircleacademy.com, the proven system to add 6 to 7 figures a year to your thought leader practice.
Welcome to another exciting episode of the podcast, The Thought Leader Revolution. I'm your host, Nicky. And boy, do we have an amazing episode lined up for you today. Today's episode is Thought Leader Nugget number 109. And today's very special because what we're going to be talking about is the second form of capital, and that's intellectual capital. Last week, we delved into the first form of capital, which is real capital, and that's cash and other liquid instruments. Today, we're going into the second form of capital, and that's intellectual capital. Well, what the heck is intellectual capital, Nicky? Well, it consists of your expertise, of what you know. It consists of your ability to use what you know to solve acute problems for people who have those problems and are willing to pay good money to have those problems solved. So let me give you an example. You could be an incredible salesman. You could know how to sell. And there could be a bunch of people that are in business that need to have their sales skills upgraded so they can sell more effectively and sell more. And your ability, your intellectual capital in the arena of sales could be something that is very valuable to those folks, and they're willing to pay you to have you share that expertise with them. That's intellectual capital. Now, why would you want to have intellectual capital? Well, straight up, intellectual capital is the basis for you creating yourself as an industry-level thought leader. Because if you're an industry-level thought leader, that means that people in your industry are super interested in what you have to say about the topics that pertain to your industry, that they're interested in to help them solve the various problems that they have. And when you are an industry-level thought leader and people are super interested in having someone like you with the special and specific expertise that you have to assist them in solving those problems, then what's good is you create what we call a win-win-win situation. That win-win-win situation allows someone like you to create victory for them because they get their problem solved. It also allows you to create victory for yourself because obviously you get to do work that's satisfying, fulfilling, and that basically means work that pays. When you're able to do that kind of work, it's fantastic for you. So that is the win for you. And the third win is a win for all of humanity. Because when a good person like you is able to help someone in need, someone who's dealing with a major problem, and help them solve it, the sum total of goodness in the world gets enhanced. So IP is powerful for you because IP allows you to create opportunities for yourself to make money, to be fulfilled, to be experiencing massive satisfaction that you're doing work that you're meant to do, work that has you recognized for your expertise, and work that makes you a lot of money. All that's fabulous. And the more intellectual capital you have, the more you're able to turn that intellectual capital into real capital, income, cash, money, the good stuff. And if right now you're not clear about what your intellectual capital is, well, I'm going to give you a couple of thoughts One is put together a little survey. Go to the people that you work with. Go to your clients and say, hey, why do you work with me? Why'd you hire me? Why have you decided to use me in order to help you solve the key problems that you have in your life or in your business? And once they answer those questions for you, you're going to understand exactly what your expertise is and how and why people value it. Because the truth of the matter is that people are super interested in having people like you who are able to help them solve their problems, give them recommendations on how to solve those problems. And remember, recommendations rooted in your expertise are worth a lot to clients. Clients will pay a great deal for the outcomes, results, and long-term value of your advice and your recommendations to them. Remember that. And it's very important that what you do is all about helping folks solve problems. If you're in any business, if you're in the business of being a coach or a consultant, being a sought-after industry thought leader is a great way to have a wonderful business model. Now, if you're a CEO of a company and you want to go, Nicky, well, how do I use my intellectual capital to make more money to grow my business? That's a fantastic question too. So what you got to do first and foremost is you got to start thinking about your expertise and start having it cohere in your mind, and then put it down on paper in such a way that you're going to be able to explain it to people in your industry that care about it and care about how it can help them, so that they're interested in speaking to you, they're interested in hearing from you, and they're interested in having conversations with you about you helping them in return for them paying you, i.e. buying conversations. Buying conversations are what intellectual property make possible for you. Now, if you're the CEO of a large company, it isn't necessarily you per se who's going to be having those buying conversations. There's people in your organization that are going to do it, or frankly, it could be your website that helps create those buying conversations for people because they're online buying conversations. That's all good too, but it's your intellectual capital, it's your expertise that creates the opening for all of that to happen. Now, I trust you've gotten a ton out of this conversation on intellectual capital, and that you really are excited about using your intellectual capital in order to help you generate income, cash, liquid assets, i.e. real capital. And if it has been the case, then do me a favor. Go to iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, wherever you happen to listen to this episode. Leave us a like, leave us a rating, leave us a review. And if you have a friend who could benefit from listening to this episode, share it with them so that you can help them become successful in their business. Okay? Make sure that you do that. It's really, really important that in this day and age, we all lock arms and we be of service together. I'm all about helping people through my knowledge and also sharing the knowledge of others. And last night, in fact, I did that. There's a gentleman I know who's in the psychedelics space. And I saw a really great article about the psychedelic space that was very helpful to him. And as soon as I saw it, I sent it to him and I said, look, have a look at this. And he was like all over it. And I got to tell you that that's the sort of thing that I want to encourage you to do for people. So if you're listening to this episode and you thought, wow, this is really good, but my friend Jimmy or my friend Sarah could really benefit from listening to this, do me a favor, do yourself a favor, and do them a favor and share this with them. All right, and that wraps up another exciting episode of the podcast, The Thought Leader Revolution. To find out more about today's episode, go and listen to the last two Thought Leader Nuggets, because they get into real capital and they also get into an overview of the three types of capital. And if you want to get into how these can help you in your business, then jump on my website, eCircleacademy.com/appointment, and book an appointment with me on your calendar so that we can talk about these and how they can apply to you in your business. Until next time, goodbye.
This episode has been brought to you by eCircleAcademy.com, the proven system to add 6 to 7 figures a year to your thought leader practice.